Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have a guest from LaGrange College that is representing the Frank and Laura Lewis Library. I have on archive specialist Felecia Moore. Felecia, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to sit down with you, Felecia. And, you know, I wanted to make sure I got the name correct because I think you already know this. Brother Frank Lewis was one of my fraternity brothers.
Oh, yes, yes.
That's right. So the library bears his name there. But before we jump into talking a bit about what we're going to be here today to talk about, tell us just a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Well, my name is Felecia Moore. I'm originally from Talbot County, Georgia. I moved up here a little over 30 years ago, and I've been working in the IT and human resources field. I taught middle school at Callaway Middle for a few years, and I've been at LaGrange College as the archive specialist since 2018.
Wow.
And yes.
Okay, very good. So IT and taught and everything.
Human resources, yes, and I taught business education for Callaway Middle School.
Callaway, very good. So you have a variety of, I guess, educational backgrounds there, right?
Yes, I do, yes.
Very good. Now, archive specialist, help people to understand what that was all about.
Well, basically, I sum it up by saying that I'm responsible for the history and the memory of LaGrange College.
Okay.
People call me from all over the country asking questions mostly about their grandmother that possibly attended LaGrange College, because you may or may not know LaGrange College originally started out in 1831 as an all-girls school, an all-women's school. And so many of the people that do call me, they're conducting sometimes genealogical research on a grandparent, or most times a grandmother from that time period, the late 1800s to early 1900s. They're just wanting to know as much as they can about their grandmother's time there, or sometimes it could be great-grandmother. They want to know about the period of time that they spent at the college.
Very good. And you guys have records of that in most cases?
Yes, we do. Okay. We have the oldest record that we do have as far as like catalog and bulletins is 1858. Wow. We do have old board of trustee minutes that gives information just about the college in general, its operations. We have composites that show. We have some back to the 1800s that have the women's photos, graduation photos. So those are very helpful. Sometimes they really enjoy seeing the photos of their grandmother or great-grandmother, whatever the case is.
I can understand, absolutely. Now, and I want to jump into more because you were talking about history, and it's so important to capture history, the photos, the notes, or various other little things that you can just sit and just kind of like, wow, this is my great-great-grandmother, my great-great-grandfather. LaGrange College, Frank Lewis, first African-American board of trustee. Now the library bears his name. Talk about how that came to be, if you don't mind. Oh,
sure. Mr. Frank Lewis started out as a librarian at the William and Evelyn Banks Library.
Okay.
That is that the Banks Hall building is still there on campus, but it used to be the library until 2009 when the Frank and Laura Lewis Library opened. He was the director of the library for 24 years. He was informed that the new Frank and Laura Lewis Library would be named after him, but he did not live to see it open. And the library got its name because the lead donor for the project, the Callaway Foundation, they decided to recognize his wife, Mrs. Laura Lewis, by naming the library after them. Mrs. Laura Lewis was also a longtime librarian for the Troop Harris Coweta Regional Library System for 34 years. And she started out at the Union Street Library, which is now the Ethel W. Kite Library.
Right, wow. So that's how it all came to be. And unfortunately, Brother Frank didn't live to see the name unveiled.
Right, correct,
In his
well, he knew that it was going to happen. Right. They informed him, but he did not live to see the actual library open.
Right, okay. Very good, very good. And I guess, in talking about, the history, 1831, all-girls school, the naming of the Frank and Laura Lewis Library, we now see some transformation taking place in our area that is a heavily African American community, the Hamilton Road corridor. For 30 plus years, it has been slated for widening. And we see today that it's gotten closer than it has ever been because you go down through the Hamilton Road corridor, there's a lot of the homes and businesses and trees and everything that used to be there are no longer there.
Right.
And I know that you have gone out and done some inventory and done some work in the corridor there. Talk a little bit about what you have done, Felecia, if you don't mind.
Sure. In June of 2020, the Georgia Department of Transportation requested that I conduct oral history interviews of former residents, former business owners, or in some cases I've had to conduct those interviews with family members in order to mitigate the impact of all that you're speaking of, the raising of the businesses and the homes. And so I've been able to conduct several interviews, approximately between 15 and 20 interviews that I've conducted with people in the area. Those interviews and transcripts will be available to local other archives, libraries in the area or in the state of Georgia that are interested in that information. But it's been very interesting to hear those stories. Everything from some of the people I interviewed were people that were affiliated with Hart's Barbershop, some of the funeral homes, the residents of the Epps home. One person that is still living, she is 100 years old, Miss Grace Harvey. So it's been interesting to hear those stories and to find out what life was like back during those times.
Yeah, absolutely. And why is that so important, especially in the African American culture? Because so many times things are documented or documented incorrectly or just not documented at all. Why is that so important to capture that history, in your opinion, Felecia? Oh,
I mean, it's just, to me, I love storytelling, and a lot of times our stories are passed down through those stories. So I was able to hear everything from their perspective, whether it was a business perspective or just a personal perspective, and that information can be passed on to future generations, so they can, so those generations can be proud of everything that their ancestors, what they've done, especially owning the businesses. There were so many taxi cabs, funeral homes, other businesses in the area that their descendants should be proud of, that their grandparents or great-grandparents owned for many, many years. So it's just important, I think, for just pride for the community, and just hopefully to inspire the future generations to let them know that they can do it. If their grandparents did it, then they can definitely do it now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see so many times, you have to understand where you come from to understand where you're going. And you're talking about building pride in our young people and things of that nature. So you definitely, when they know that their ancestors were business owners,
yes,
entrepreneurs, doctors and lawyers, because so many times I think we see the negativeness of who we were and are as a people that sometimes people just don't seem to think is important.
Right. Yeah, you do forget about it. Also in the area, you mentioned doctors. But yes, there were several doctors in the early 1900s. I say several, a few doctors in the early 1900s. Many teachers lived in that area, so it should be a source of pride, that all of that was happening in the Hamilton Road area and many of the side streets there.
Absolutely. And I know, Felecia, there was an article that came out in the paper last week, ECA, which is Enlightenment Center for African American History. How can what you have done or doing can tie in to help that group to accomplish capturing and preserving that history?
Well, I do plan next month to hold a workshop for the members of ECA so that they can learn about properly preserving any artifacts that they are currently receiving right now. They could be whether they want to preserve them digitally or either just maintaining the state that they're in so that they do not further deteriorate. It's very important how that is handled, and so I do that every day, and so I plan to share that information with the with the ECHO organization.
Very good. You know, because when you think about, because I know that we're asking for artifacts and, you know, photographs are the most important, you know, because as you talk about things, if you got a photograph that goes along with what you're talking about, it just brings it so much more to life. I always tell people I'm a visual person.
Yes.
And so it just brings it so much to life. Because you know, you don't think about what you do every day as someone just gathering stuff. So, we just put it over there, but that's not the proper way of handling it.
Oh, no, you do have to be very careful because, it can, every day it's getting older and you want to make sure that it is handled properly.
Very good. Very good. And talking about that, I know that 1967, I believe it was, that was the first African-American students were there at LaGrange College. Can you talk about that briefly for us?
Oh, sure. Actually, if we go back to April 1st, 1966, that is when the LaGrange College Board of Trustees voted to to abide by the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So once they voted on that, at that point, African Americans could attend LaGrange College. However, the first student did not arrive until March of 1967, and her name is Mrs. Alfreda Barrow Fannings, and she is from Fredonia, Alabama.
Wow. And
actually, we just recently had Miss Fannings as a guest at LaGrange College. She spoke to our Black Girls Magic group and beyond. It was an open cultural enrichment or college enrichment. Sometimes the name is changed a little bit. Okay. College enrichment event for all faculty, staff. It was very well attended. Mrs. Barrow Fannings had a chance to tell her story about what it was like to be the first at LaGrange College. She came in the spring, but then that fall there were 6 additional students that came. 5 of them were from South Carolina, and then there was another young man that was from Florida.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Well, we definitely want to make sure that we reach out to those that are still living,
yes.
Miss Barrow Fannings, perhaps, and capture some of her information.
Oh, yes. I'm sure she'd be happy to.
Okay. We definitely want to do that as well. Well, Felecia, this has been an awesome interview, and I want to say thank you for what you're doing there at LaGrange College, and thank you for presenting the workshop that you will be sharing with the members of ECHO to help them understand how to preserve information so vitally important as we start getting those things in. So I definitely want to have you back on as a guest later on.
Oh, sure.
And definitely maybe we can talk about the workshop and how well that went, okay?
Oh, I'd be happy to.
All right, very good. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more Secret Week coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. As always, each week I am joined by Lynne from Visit LaGrange to give us a great rundown of all the upcoming events happening in and around our downtown LaGrange area that we all can get out and take part of. Lynne, I hope that you got a great lineup for us.
Ooh, it's a busy week coming up.
I can tell. The weather's getting nice.
Out.
That's right.
It's that time of year where everything starts coming together.
There you go. Hey, let's hear all about it.
Okay, great. Good morning. I'm going to be talking about the events that are going to be going around in LaGrange during the week of April 17th through the 23rd. So let's get started. Thursday, April 20th at 6 p.m., Author Talk. Award-winning Georgia author and historian Carolyn Curry speaks on From Nonfiction to Fiction. Stories of Strong Women at Delavon Event Center, located at 141 Main Street. She'll be introduced by her husband, former Georgia Tech head football coach, Bill Curry. April 20th through April 22nd at 7:30 p.m. and April 23rd at 3 p.m., LSPA presents The Mousetrap by Agatha Christie, directed by Jack Moorman. After a local woman is murdered, the guests and staff at Montswell Manor find themselves stranded during a snowstorm. It soon becomes clear that the killer is among them, and the 7 strangers grow increasingly suspicious of one another. A police detective interrogates the suspects, the newlyweds running the house, a spinster with a curious background, an architect who seems better equipped to be a chef, a retired Army major, a strange little man who claims his car was overturned in a drift, and a jurist who makes life miserable for everyone. This record-breaking murder mystery features a brilliant surprise finish from Dame Agatha Christie, the foremost mystery writer of her time. Friday, April 21st, from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m., Leaving LaGrange Better Than We Found It, litter cleanup by the City of LaGrange government. The public is invited to join the City of LaGrange for its citywide litter cleanup event for the April 2023 litter cleanup. The event is Friday, April 21st from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. We will meet in front of City Hall, 200 Ridley Avenue in LaGrange. If you'd like to join us, just show up. We'll provide all of the supplies. Saturday, April 22nd from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m., Yoga in the Vines with Christina Moore at Nutwood Winery. Yoga in the Vines is a self-care in the fresh air that you've been missing. Under the shade of 200-year-old pecan trees, let your troubles fade away and your mind be clear to step into a new day. Enjoy a beginner or intermediate 1-hour yoga practice and short meditation with options for a first-time participant to the seasoned practitioner. Each session is just $15, payable directly to the instructor, and we recommend you prepay via Venmo to @Christina-Moore-49. We ask that you bring your own mat and any other props you enjoy for your practice, such as blocks or straps. However, only the mat is necessary for the practice. Let yourself be renewed in breath and movement while surrounded by beauty with Yoga in the Vines at Nutwood Winery. Saturday, April 22nd from 1 until 6 p.m., Burger Bash 2023 at Wildleap and the Raising Sand Band. We're thrilled to announce the return of Burger Bash at Wildleap. This will have delicious burgers from food vendors throughout the Southeast, exclusive one-day-only small batch beers, cocktails, and slushies, live music, brewery games. All ages are welcome, free entry. Please don't bring any outside food or beverage because it's not permitted. Saturday, April 22nd at 7 p.m. and Sunday, April 23rd at 4 p.m., the Sons of Lafayette Male Choir present Music of Water and Light. Tickets are now available for purchase for their spring concert. Choose from 2 performances on either April 22nd at 7 p.m. or April 23rd at 4 p.m. Please join us at First Presbyterian Church, 120 Broad Street, LaGrange, for an evening or afternoon of exciting men's choral music. Sunday, April 23rd, beginning at 2 p.m., experience the unmistakable energy of the LaGrange Cycling Classic. The LaGrange Cycling Classic supplies constant entertainment from day to night, between cheering on cyclists as they scorch through the downtown streets and enjoying local bites and craft beverages in a block party atmosphere. The experience is unmatched. Also on Sunday, April 23rd, from 1 until 7 p.m., at Pure Life House of Music, Listen LaGrange by Lewis and Broad Media. This is a benefit music festival to fight poverty, benefiting Circles of Troup County. There will be food, beer, wine, and vendors. Performances by Sweet Tea Trio, Javi Hop, Nick Mayfield, Lauren Hicks, Leah McDonald, and Michael Bailey. Pure Life Teen Collective. Tickets are $25 online and $30 at the door. Children ages 10 and under are free. For tickets, visit www.purelifehouseofmusic.com. So, Alton, those are some of the events that are going to be happening during April 17th through the 23rd. So this week is busy. Just you can imagine how it's going to start building through the end of the school year.
That's
for sure.
Right. Absolutely. You know, so much is going on, but we definitely hope people will come out. Well, like I say, weather's great, getting great. People want to be out and enjoying the beauty of the day. So, Lynn, thank you for always coming on and sharing this information with us.
Sure.
All right.
Have a great week.
Same to you, Lynn.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining City Week this week. My guests have been from LaGrange College. I had on archive specialist Felecia Moore as she talked about LaGrange College and the naming of the library, and as well as the things that she has been doing along the Hamilton Road corridor and how she will be able to assist the group ECA with the things that they're doing to preserve the African American history along the Hamilton Road corridor. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed this interview, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.